with this year's Major League Baseball All-Star Game in San Francisco, California, and both of us being Californians ourselves, we decided to make that one of our pressure points and discuss the weekend of All-Star Weekend.
I'm going to go right off the bat and say that the whole weekend, it's a big hype, and it's really not that entertaining anymore. You know, let's first start with the home run derby, okay? You have 8 guys who can hit the long ball. It's fun to watch. There's parts of it. It goes on way too long. There's like 4 rounds. By the time the finals come around, they're all too tired. The guy hits 4 home runs in the finals and wins. It's too long. They should each just do 1 round and cut it.
I don't agree. I mean, these guys, they're professional athletes. Getting tired and fatigue, that's part of the game. I mean, when they're in the 9th inning, they're fatigued. I mean, you can't say that the game should end faster than the rest of the game. I mean, it's a home run derby. It's fun to watch. They do hit a lot of home runs in the beginning, but it gets more competitive towards the end because of the fatigue factor. And I'm looking forward to that big wall in right field at Pac Bell and seeing what guys can do over that.
You know, every now and then you'll have your Bobby Abreu where he goes off for 20-some-odd home runs. But the majority of the time, it just doesn't live up to the hype. And also the All-Star Game itself. I mean, a couple years ago, it winds up in a tie. What is this? Guys do not care about the game. You know, the winner gets home field advantage in the World Series.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, well, half the guys on the team are already out of contention by the All-Star Game. They don't even care.
Yeah, but those teams only have 1 guy on the team anyways. I mean, you have to love the All-Star Game, especially with that factor where it's home field advantage. Home field advantage in any sport is huge. If you're going into the team, especially if you want to talk about the Giants specifically, I mean, just think about if they were in that situation, which they probably won't be, but I mean, think about the boos that Bonds would get, or other guys out there that other stadiums or other cities don't like.
The fact of the matter is that All-Star Games have not been played the same as they were in the 70s when Pete Rose took out Ray Fosse in a collision at home plate to win the game. These guys just don't care anymore. And the fact of the matter is, the product on the field is not as exciting. They should cut it down. They should scale it back.
A sport for the frisbee throwing, chain whacking outdoorsman grows in popularity. Disc golf is how it's known for the purists. Around here, we still call it Frolf.
Disc golf's just like regular golf. Same rules, shooting for the lowest score. Instead of a ball, you have a disc and a basket.
So in disc golf, 1,000 is the equivalent of a scratch ball golfer. I have 2 of everything that I really count on that I throw really far, because you could lose it, get it stuck in a tree, throw it in a lake. David Feldberg in LA at the tournament down there about 3 weeks ago, it was a national tour event. He had 31 discs in his bag. You have discs that are, you know, different levels of stability, and then you have, you know, for every kind of shot. So you might have a shot that's 100 yards downwind, and that's a different disc than one that's 100 yards upwind. It's not windy. I mean, I could stand out here and make 10 in a row from 30 feet. Last year, the biggest first prize was $11,000 for the USDGC, United States Disc Golf Championship.
In this week's edition of Fantasy Fix, we'll examine the overrated specialists on your roster and how to dump them off for some real value. In case you haven't learned by now, it's a mistake to spend for big saves. Closers are too much of a gamble. 2 low-priced guys on draft day, Jose Valverde and Francisco Cordero, each have more saves than high draft picks Mo Rivera and Billy Wagner combined. So if you need a boost in some of the hitting categories, dump your big-name closer off for a bat. There are owners out there that will overvalue guys like K-Rod and Joe Nathan that basically just help in one category. If you can fleece them for a 5-tool guy like Hanley Ramirez or even Torrey Hunter, you'd be a fool not to. And just so you don't tank in saves after the trade, keep an eye on the latest news and trends on who is closing ball games for each club. Many Major League teams go through a handful of closers per year, so remain alert and your saves could come easy.
Did you know? Cal Poly Hall of Famer and former San Francisco Giants ace Mike Krukow won 20 games in the 1986 season. Krukow posted a 3.05 ERA and didn't have any walks all year long. Incredible. Krukow has his own clubhouse at Baggett Stadium and remains a loyal Mustang fan.
Well, I'd say it was a pretty good day for me in pressure points. I think I took the cake on that one.
I thought that I edged you out, but obviously other people think differently, so.
Well, let's see what heckles will be heard this week with PSI's Drew Bonadelli in his final rant.
Thank you, Jordan.
Tonight I want to talk a little bit about baseball tonight, and it's sad news for you Seam heads out there. The show just flat out going downhill, and I'm at the breaking point last night when Steve Phillips, it was a face-off between Steve Phillips in a blue shirt and Steve Phillips in a pink shirt. I mean, that's just ridiculous. The guy was a bad GM. He got run out of the game, and now Baseball Tonight hires him. He does not have any inside contacts, and he just rambles his mouth. John Kruk, he's in there just trying to yell over everybody. He doesn't add anything. Ever since Harold Reynolds left for a little frisking action in the office, the show has just gone downhill. In order to get it back to the promised land, you need to make sure that Gullet Gammons, Jason Stark, or Buster Olney, or even Tim Kirchin, you got to have at least one of those guys in every single set. Get Ravitch on one side, and then you need a guy, you need to bring in an ex-ball player like Harold Reynolds to get back up there, because these GMs like Phillips, I mean, they're just killing it. And another thing on the mind was the NC2A banning live blogging in the press box. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. They want to have total control over all the information goes out, but they're living in the Stonehenge if they're denying things like live blogging. I mean, what do they want? What do they want to do? Type it up and have a stork take the message and deliver it? It is just ridiculous. The NC2A needs to wake up, live in the moment, and embrace the technology. That was my final rant. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Jordan Iserson.
And I'm Connor Driscoll. Shake and bake.